Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at wee Jimmy Cranky's Sturgeon's lies and also gloat at an article claiming Germany would block Scotland joining the EU.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration. Rotten politics in this country at the moment.
It's titled Nicola Sturgeon Blow: How Germany Could Block Scotland's EU Entry Due to Eurozone Fears. Oh dear, what will Sturgeon, the wee pish-stinking fishwife, do now? She can't use the EU to push for English hatred? Sorry, I meant independence. We know what she will do. She'll use the Lurgy to claim it's the English's fault, won't she? Oh wait, what's this? Sturgeon is accused of covering up lurgy infections at a night conference in Edinburgh, and the people there then went on and passed it on? Oopsie Nicola, can't use that either now, can you? SNP knew and said nothing. How long till Scots realise just because SNP got national in the name doesn't mean they are for the Scots? Let's read this article. Nicola Sturgeon hopes to keep Scotland in the EU by calling a second independence referendum, but unearthed reports suggest that Germany could block the country's entry into the bloc over Eurozone breakup fears. Britain officially left the European Union on January the 31st, but not everyone in the UK has given up on EU membership. Despite Prime Minister Boris Johnson repeatedly rejecting her independence calls, because your independence vote was a once in a lifetime. Remember, once in a lifetime. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, wee cranky, remains defiant, as per usual. The SNP leader believes Scots are being dragged out of the bloc against their will. While Brexit might... No, what actually happened was you voted against leaving as one union, not separate individual nations. You already voted on that and failed, didn't you? While Brexit might have made the cause for its Scottish independence stronger, though, it has also made it practically more difficult. An independent Scotland would now border a non-EU country, like requiring infrastructure and border checks between regions whose communities are deeply intertwined. Similar to the problem of the Irish border that severely complicated Brexit talks. Yep, you know the hard border that the SNP were saying was impossible to get around? We can't leave the EU because of the hard border, and we can't not do a hard border because, hard border. Well, that might come back and bite them in the backside now, mightn't it? Because they're going to have to hold by the same thing now. Precedent has been set by their own mouths. Scotland could also be rejected by Brussels due to its current deficit of 7% of GDP, unless it adopted a strict austerity programme. You listening, Scots? If they do get you back into the EU, they're going to hammer you with austerity. Nice of them, isn't it? SNP, yeah. National, are they? I don't think so. From the EU, as well as potentially adopting the euro. And you're going to lose the pound and your own money. Moreover, new members can only be allowed into the bloc through a unanimous vote from the existing member states, and Holyrood would undoubtedly ruffle feathers if it were to join. Spain is struggling with recession demands itself from Catalonia, so it's unlikely to support a newly independent state. Exactly, because if they allowed them to enter, Catalonia would want independence as well, wouldn't they? And all of the rest. You understand where I'm coming from? It's never going to happen. So, Scots, if you ever think that you're gaining independence so you can stay in the EU, your lovely EU, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. According to unearthed reports, there is another surprising country that could block Scotland's entry: Germany. According to a 2014 The Telegraph report by Brussels correspondent Bruno Waterfield, during the first Scottish independence referendum campaign, Germany did not want a yes vote as it feared financial instability and the breakup of the Eurozone. So they see you as a threat to the Eurozone, Scotland. You're never getting in. Mr. Waterfield explained SNP threats to default on debt unless Scotland can stay in the pound have alarmed Berlin. Moreover, according to The Guardian, the German mood was nothing but welcoming at the time. The report reads, Die Welt newspaper has been sneering, describing separatism as a virus spreading through Europe that has already infected half of the population in northern Great Britain, before adding, is that what you're calling it? Separatism, northern Great Britain? How dare you? All Europeans are thinking we really have other problems. Are you really? Are you really? That's why you've been cajoling and threatening and blackmailing, isn't it? That's because you don't really care, do you? Oh, you got other problems, have you? Yeah, you know the only problem you've got is us. And it's going to be your demise. Isn't it, everyone? More sober outlets such as Der Spiegel and I can't say that, Zeitung also warned of economic consequences and voiced their fears that a yes vote would give the UK's Eurosceptic the ammunition they need to sever the country from Brussels. We've already going to be doing that anyway. It didn't work, did it? With the Eurozone facing one of its worst financial crises due to the lurgy pandemic, Germany's opposition to Scotland's EU entry could arguably become even greater. Well, it definitely will, won't it? I mean, what exactly has Scotland got to offer if it isn't part of the UK? You see how they were silenced then? Since 2014, Eurocrats have given different views on whether Scotland could join the bloc though. In 2016, Guy Verhofstadt, the European Parliament's Brexit coordinator, said, if Scotland decides to leave the UK to be an independent state and they decide to be part of the EU, I think there is no big obstacle to do that. And why did he do that? Let me think about it. Why exactly could Verhofstadt do something like that? I'll tell you why. Because he wanted to sow division in our nation, in our union. That's exactly why. He had no intention of ever letting Scotland in. He was using you as pawns, Scotland. Pawns. Let that sink in. Pawns. So you know when you're thinking of freedom, you're not getting freedom, you're getting pawns, serfdom. Enjoy. He added it would be suicide for the EU to refuse entry to people that are sympathetic to the EU's aims. Oh yeah, alright, that's why it's took you so long to take on Macedonia and Albania then, isn't it? That's exactly why. Because it would be suicide to refuse, wouldn't it? The Hofstwat. See what I mean, everyone? This is just ridiculousness. Moreover, the Brexit referendum, Mr. Verhofstadt wrote on Twitter, it's wrong that Scotland might be taken out of the EU when it voted to stay. It voted to stay as part of the United Kingdom, you little ankle biter. It had nothing to do with you. Now at this point, Scotland, as everybody knows, I like the Scottish people, I really do. I think they're being led down the garden path by a bunch of absolute dishonest liars, to be honest. And they're going to try and get you into an EU that doesn't want you, just so that you can get independence. But think about what actual independence would mean. Look at the SNP's handling of the NHS up there, benefits up there. The list could go on, but you understand what I'm coming from, don't you? In regards to what my feelings are on this, I think it's just ridiculous. It's more flapping of the lips. I'm actually glad because Sturgeon can no longer use the EU as a way to beat the English. Because that's what she's doing. She's just beating us up for the sake of English hatred. But am I wrong? If you think I'm wrong, let me know. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, bell icon. That way you'll be notified when there's a new video up on the channel. You won't miss anything. Stay safe, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.